I identify as a self-improver. My life is improvement of self. I've been on self-improvement for 3 months. How long have you been on self-improvement? Join me and become a self-improver. Listen boys, a lot of you are self-snitching. Let me explain. Self-identity, how we perceive ourselves, is incredibly important. The world works in funny ways. If you identify as a loser, then you're a loser. If you identify as a winner, then you're a winner. A lot of us are very quick to throw labels on ourselves. I'm skinny. I'm retarded. I'm a self-improver. It sounds very silly and very hocus pocus, but if you wake up every day with the self-belief that you are a loser, then you will be a loser until you change that belief about yourself. Now don't get me twisted. You can't just psychotically look yourself in the mirror and scream, I am rich, I am successful, and it becomes true. You also have to put the work in. You won't get strong without first destroying your muscles. You won't get rich without providing value. But think about how empowering it is and how much more likely you are to do the work required if you have a positive self-image, rather than, I'm a loser. People wake up and roam the earth every single day thinking that they are a loser. Their identity is that of a loser. And to me, that's one of the saddest things I can imagine. I'm not into the autistic internet micro communities and all of the red pill and the blue pill and etc. But I can't imagine a much sadder existence than being a black pillar and having a self-belief that your worth and your value in the world is only tied to how you look and your genetics. That has got to be one of the worst self-beliefs you could possibly have. This brings me to the point of my video. Now, identifying as a self-improver is much more positive than the black pill, because the black pill strips away all of your hope for life and it's just an abysmal black and white existence to live in. At least if you identify as a self-improver, then you're building towards something better. The problem is though, self-improvers are self-snitching. A man who's genuinely about it doesn't need a label to give himself. They don't need the label of self-improver to get good things done. We're all on our own journeys, all discovering what's right and wrong, what's good and bad. That's what life's all about. Being on self-improvement implies that your default state is that of someone who is not on self-improvement. Does that make sense? Generally speaking, all men should be on self-improvement because that's what life is as a man. Men build their value. They're not born with innate value, you have to build it. And that requires development of self. Giving yourself the label of self-improver implies that your default state is not doing that. And so, if you identify as a self-improver, anyone who's genuinely about it is actually going to identify you as a bit of a loser. Much like if you identify as someone on NoFap, you're always fighting an uphill battle. Eventually, the temptation to touch your cock is going to overpower you because it's part of your identity that you're fighting against it. If you identify as an alcoholic, you're far more likely to relapse. And if you identify as a self-improver, you're far more likely to fall back into bad habits. I think self-improvement is great because it gives young men the awareness over their own choices and their own actions. But I think if you obsess over it to the point where you introduce yourself saying, hi, my name's Sam and I've been on self-improvement for X months, you are self-snitching. I've not once met a high-value man who's genuinely about it, who's approached me and said, hi Sam, my name's X and I've been on self-improvement for Y years. They don't do that because the default state of a man is to be on self-improvement. We're building. Much like if someone came up to me and said, hi Sam, I'm X and I'm on NoFap. It's not necessarily a good look. I have not once identified as someone on self-improvement. I've never went up to someone and said, I've been on self-improvement for 2 years. I identify as Sam Harborne, and Sam Harborne builds. Sam Harborne is constantly developing. Sam Harborne works very hard. And most importantly, Sam Harborne is a fucking G. Be careful with what you choose to identify yourself as because labels you give yourself are very telling of your character. Boys, my Video Editing Academy of Excellence is officially built and finished. I'll be raising the price in 3 days, so this is your last chance to get it at a fucking incredible price. My friends who I made in Dubai literally laugh at me and think I'm retarded for selling this at such a cheap price. Over 150 of my students have already taken advantage of the pre-order price and are well on their way to financial and location freedom. If you want to join us, click the first link in the description right now. It's your last chance to get it at an awesome price. Seriously, it's such a good offer. I've even landed a lot of my students high-paying, very high-level client work. Click the link right now. Take care, boys.